Well, hi everybody, and welcome to the Self-Help FAQ YouTube channel. I'm Barb, your host, and today we're going to be talking about a very important subject, and that is how to reinvent yourself after a great loss. This kind of loss can be anything from a loss of a relationship, loss of a job, loss of your independence from disability, and many other kinds of losses. People react to these losses differently, and so I did some research. I even did a poll to find out how some of the people in this community may react to a loss, how they get through it, how they try to reach for something better and to get over these things and to rebuild their lives. And even I went through a devastating bunch of losses in 2006, which I will talk about. And we'll talk about a few ways you can try to get over these losses and become a better than you were before. And this is going to be very interesting and I hope very helpful for you. And maybe you'll discover something new that you can use to help yourself. Let's get to it. So first of all, as we go through our lives, we actually start to identify ourselves by what we do and who we're with, maybe. So we could attach our identities to the jobs that we do. We can attach our identities to who we are with in relationships, or what we do for skills or abilities. And when we lose any one of those, a great deal of our identity feels gone or lost. And this is the time that we need to rediscover who we are. And many people, when they're faced with such loss, they react different ways. I checked this out in a poll I did on the posts within the channel. So you can also still vote on that. I'd still be interested in knowing how you deal with a sudden loss. And sometimes people will reach out to others for support and help. And sometimes people will withdraw from social media and also being sociable. They might withdraw from friends. Some people want to just look for answers on their own online or in books. And finally, sometimes people will seek therapy if the loss is so great they can't handle it on their own. Let me tell you how I reacted with my losses in late 2005, early 2006. In late 2005, I was actually losing an important relationship. And then right after that, I lost the place I was living, so my home. And right after that, I lost my ability to walk. And then after that, my job was gone. So, I mean, it piled up one right after the other, and you would think that I would have thrown in the towel and just checked out. But I didn't do that. And I have, first of all, many great friends to thank for that. I had some very decent friends that not only let me lean on them, but also they gave me a temporary home for a while, and that was very helpful. And I also was lucky enough that disability lined up with the requirements to get Social Security disability payments. They really weren't enough to live on, and still aren't. So I was grateful to have some friends that took me in so that I could at least afford food and any of the other things that I might need in my life, such as a phone. Just the basics. It was just enough to cover food and basics, but really nothing else. So I was grateful to have the friends who took me in. And so all these losses were great, but instead of throwing in the towel and giving up, I looked at them as it was actually a blessing in disguise. I mean, yes, it's terrible to be able to lose your walking ability, but I looked at it as a blessing in disguise because it gave me time to actually figure out what it was I could do to go forward on my own, find out who I was at my core, and I found that something I had been doing all along was really who I was, which was someone who liked to write and someone who loved music. And those things are still very important to me to this day. And the fact that I had the disability also gave me a new perspective on how to help other people to get over their losses. Whichever kind of loss you've got, I have pretty much have experience with it and can help you too. And that's what this channel is about, and the journaling that I do, and also the journals that I actually write. The whole self-improvement interest in movement for me is really to pass on what I know, what I've learned, and what I'm still learning by myself and with my community. We learn together. So let me give you a few tips. If you're going through hard times right now, or have recently gone through hard times, and you're still trying to find your way out, I hope that I can give you a few tips to move forward. Let me try doing that right now. Okay, so let's do this in steps. Step number 1, you have to grieve. People have different ways of grieving. Pick whichever way works for you. But you must grieve, because grieving is a part of the natural process of getting to the other side, something better. And you also will create space for healing if you do this before rebuilding. You can't just go from loss to rebuilding. There has to be an intermediary step. So make sure that happens, and if you need extra help on that, if it's just too much for you or you have prolonged depression, get help. Look online for help. Maybe call a number that you find online to help you. If I see one that I think would help, I will put it on the screen when I'm doing my editing. And that's step number 1. Make sure you grieve, so then you have space to rebuild after that. Okay, after that, you need to start reflecting on what happened. For me, journaling and reading books helped with this stage. And so I wrote a journal, which I've talked about in many other previous videos. But in case you're new here, I'll cut away to a picture of the cover of my journal that I wrote. You can get it on Amazon, and in the description box there's a link to get it on Amazon. But anyway, so you want to reflect on what happened to you, the impact it's had on you, and ask yourself, is this loss going to define you, destroy you, or move you forward on your path? And I think if you do some journaling, it's going to move you forward on your path. But at any rate, you do need to reflect on what happened. Talk about in your journal what lessons you've learned from this loss, and what has it taught you about being resilient, or what your priorities are now going to be, so that you can shift from being a victim to becoming empowered to move forward and become a better, newer you. Okay, here's a cover shot of the journal that I wrote last summer and am working through now with my community. It's called the 3-in-1 Guided Journal Study Guide Activity Workbook, with famous quotes to improve your health, wealth, and happiness. And in the description box below, there is a link that you can find this on Amazon. But this book will actually help you get through any of your losses. The very first chapter helps you look forward in your life to build a better life. So I highly encourage you to get this journal, and you can work through it with me. The first 4 chapters I've offered in my first 4 videos on this channel. And then after that, you can join the membership to go through the rest. It's a very small payment for the membership, surprisingly cheap, but it's just that I want to help. And so I hope that you'll go forward with me in this book. Okay, step 3, you want to seek support from family, friends, mentors, other people who have been through this, support groups that you might find near you or online. And even here, this community can probably help you. I think many of us have been through some really hard times, and we all have something to say about it. And so don't isolate yourself for too long, because when you have connection, it combats loneliness. And 3 or 4 brains are better than one, I think, too. So you want to get help from other people. You can join grief-related organizations, and just share your story if you feel like it with others that might be able to relate and help you from where they've been. Now, step 4 is very important. You need to observe what your mindset is, and if it's negative, you're going to have to change it. So monitor your thoughts, but don't judge them too harshly. Spot your negative thoughts and change them. Don't dwell on what ifs, if you can help it at all. And practice gratitude, noting small positive things that happen daily or that you can do daily. And be open to the uncertainties of life. It helps you reframe your loss. And it's part of life. Loss is a part of life. And I think it's what helps us grow. Just like learning from mistakes, we can learn from our losses. It's not the end of the world. It's not your end point. For step 5, I recommend starting small. You have to make realistic goals, small goals, so that you can build your confidence, like exercising a few times a week, or maybe learning a new skill related to what you're interested in. You have to be really clear about what you really want in this new phase of your life. Don't make any impulsive decisions like, I think I'll just move out of the area, like lickety-split. Maybe you will move, but don't do it right away. Because you're in an emotional fog, you could do things that you might regret later. So start small, set realistic goals that you can work with right now. That is step 5. Step 6, or point 6, that I'd like to make is to prioritize self-care and your habits. Because when you're emotionally drained or just lost in an emotional fog, these things can fall to the wayside. And you don't want to lose what health you've got. If you've got some decent health going on right now, you don't want to lose that because you're so upset. And you got to feed yourself the nutritional foods. You need to keep your body moving, and you have to make sure you get enough sleep. Keep with your medical checkups, and stop with any unhealthful habits that aren't going to help you, such as staying on social media, which could bring you down. If you're smoking or having any bad habits like that, see if you can quit. See if you can cut back on bad habits so that you can make room for better ones. And make sure that you've got a daily schedule. Give yourself things to look forward to, things that you enjoy, and make sure you have a good schedule going so that you can at least have something regular happening, so that you're not going to maybe sit on a couch and wallow in emotional turmoil and crying for hours on end. Make sure you've got something good to look forward to. And I highly recommend that. That's one of the things that helped me a lot, sticking to a schedule and having things to look forward to. Another thing you can do is to try something new. Try to join maybe a meetup group or things that are happening in your community that you've never done before or haven't experienced before. Maybe it brings you out of your comfort zone. But it will help get your mind off what happened. And if you've done enough grieving that you're ready to try something new, then that's a good time to try. So number 9, I think that in some cases you can face the demon head on and find purpose in your loss. That's kind of what I've been doing, and it's what's led me to doing writing of the self-improvement got me into the self-improvement field. Because of all the things that happened to me, I thought, well, maybe I can help other people in this field. So whatever your loss is, this might be a step you could take. Maybe you can become an advocate for people who have suffered the same loss as you. For instance, if you lost something because of drug abuse or alcohol abuse, maybe you can go into that field and help others once you've gotten over the loss that you've suffered, which maybe you've lost a job over one of these problems, something like that. You can become an advocate in your actual loss. Next, when you're looking for things that will help you grow, and you're trying to make choices in activities or directions to go, ask yourself, is this thing that I'm about to do going to expand my growth or restrict it? There are some things that could be, bad choices for growth. And even some people are bad choices for your growth. And you'll know by spending time with these things a little bit whether it's going to head you in the right direction or the wrong direction. So evaluate your choices for your growth in this case. Number 10, you really need to be patient with your reinvention. And my reinvention actually has taken years and years. It wasn't overnight. And in my case, my loss, though I had a lot of losses, the disability loss, the loss of being able to walk, took a long time to get used to figure out how was I going to go through my life now. Because the job loss was related to that, because in my job I did need to do a lot of physical things. I had to go up and down stairs in a certain building that didn't have an elevator, and I was actually a teacher that had to go around the room checking students' papers. I was an ESL adult ed teacher, and so I wasn't able to do that anymore, and the classrooms were very crowded, so I wasn't able to go around anymore. So I had to let go of that job and figure out what it was I could do that didn't really require walking. And in the music world, most of the musicians are standing up playing, and I thought that I had to. But as time has gone on, I've readjusted that too. So it does take a long time. You do have to be patient. And adapt to what you need to do to move forward, to reclaim independence, if that's what you lost. And you just focus on strategies that will work for you. And just be patient. It takes time. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't try to go too fast. Okay, so those are 10 of my suggestions on what you can do, or steps to help you move forward. And I know I mentioned a lot about reaching out to other people for help, but not all of us like to do that. Some of us are very introverted, myself included, or we can be a little stoic and want to do things ourselves. And don't think I've forgotten about that. I haven't forgotten about you people that are like that, which are like, it's the same as myself. And I am going to talk about that in the next video, which will be out later this week. So if you're introverted or stoic in any way like that, tune in soon for that video. We're going to move it forward for those people who don't really like to connect with others so much. And I hope that you've been able to take some of these suggestions and think about how they'll work for you, and work on that to get to your better self. Please let me know in the comments below which of these suggestions might have resonated with you, or if you have something else you've tried for your loss, let us know that too, and we can add it to the list. And thank you very much for tuning in today, and I hope to see you next time at Self-Help FAQ, the YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your day.